What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Review for Summertime Rendering. This is episode 13, and with me, as always, I have Bluespit.
Yeah, so I guess we're officially on the second core of the show, based on the brand new opening that they released, as well as of course, it also included a new ending song as well. I really thought it was it was a better opening than the first one, and it really highlights that this is going to be, I guess you could say, it's going to be more action-heavy season.
Yeah, I like that the new opening actually showed more than the first one did, which in comparison really didn't show much of anything. It's just, I don't know. I thought the song was okay, but yeah, it didn't really have, it really didn't show anything at all. And I guess maybe that was because they wanted everything to be mysterious, but I guess considering everything that was revealed this part in the story, they, I guess, don't mind holding back on showing certain things. So maybe that's why this opening is so different from the first.
Yeah. So we've seen, of course, we've both seen different animes that included time travel or time loops, like ReZero or Steins Gate. But what's unique about this one is it's going for like a direction where it doesn't feel as repetitive as those two shows did. Because in Steins Gate, ReZero, the main characters of that show would have to restart a certain loop over and over again to obtain a certain goal. But the advantage they had is they were the only ones knowledgeable of preceding events. However, in this one, Shinpei in this show does not have that kind of advantage.
About being knowledgeable about what happened before.
Well, he has the knowledge, but so does his enemies, which is revealed in this chapter, in which Heine reveals that she can also loop back in time and know what Shinpei is planning, before he can really make his move.
Yeah, and she explains why Shinpei has that mark on his arm. It's I guess so that she can follow him if he decides to loop again.
Mm-hmm. I mean, she's been obviously aware of this even way before this. So, well, the episode, of course, picks up immediately after the events of the last episode. So, Shinpei and Ushio start at the loop where I guess Shinpei tells Ryunosuke or Hizuru that he can loop back in time. Of course, they're shocked when they find Ushio appeared right next to him, and then Nezu tries to shoot her, but Shinpei stops him short after I guess Ushio ended up transferring some of her memories or whatever data she had of previous loops onto Hizuru's. So she immediately gained their trust soon afterwards.
Yeah, I didn't even know she could do that.
Yeah, but they of course plan their next steps and what to do. Of course, Shinpei obviously wants to try to get underground, but he can't do that with a giant four-armed shadow protecting Heine. So their next step is, of course, going after the shadow Shiori again. Of course, they know they can't kill her because Heine is, in reality, is controlling that shadow from underneath. So instead, they're going to have Ushio using some kind of shadow ability that can separate the shadow Shiori from Heine's control.
Yeah, she reveals, it was revealed in the last episode that she has some ability to, if she gets if they try to I guess suppose turn her against Shinpei and the others, she can actually reverse that and have it affect Heine.
It's possible, but we never really saw. I mean, she was in the process of doing it to Heine last week before she was instantly pulled back with Shinpei by the time he died. So we're not really sure to what extent her abilities work unless she really actually tries it on an actual shadow. But of course, this episode we still don't know the answer to that after once they they go after Shadow Shiori again, but the only difference this time is that Heine and the giant forearm Shadow are aware of this, and then immediately soon afterwards just kill Hizuru right off the bat.
Yeah, she gets taken out pretty quick, and it's of course revealed that the I don't even think the Shadow has a proper name, but the big Shadow with like the 4 eyes shows up, and he's immediately onto what they're doing. The same thing with the little girl, who turns out to be Heine, of course, as we know, and they're pretty much anticipating everything that Shinpei is going to do. So they pretty much stop him before he can do anything he did in the previous loops, which is pretty interesting. I didn't really think that would happen, but it's interesting that now they know about his looping abilities, of course, and they know what he's going to do. If he did something in a previous loop, then they're going to try to stop him before he can do it the same way the next time. So I guess if he loops again, he's going to have to try to he's going to have to try to do things very differently than how he did it before, maybe in like a different order or do something else.
Well, here's the problem, because every time he loops, he jumps forward in time, and they just like literally just.
Well, I think that depends though, right? Loop. Like it depends on what he did in the previous loop, if whether he's actually going to jump forward or not, because as we know in this one, he's just sent back to when he first meets up with Hizuru, and not anywhere further in time. So, he should just go back to the same place if he didn't do anything that substantial. Of course, I don't know exactly how it works, but it seems like if he didn't make some kind of progress in the previous loops, he'll just go back to a certain point in time.
Yeah. But yeah, soon afterwards, I guess Ushio ends up killing Shinpei just to get him out of their grasp. So they're immediately looping back again, but this time Ushio turns herself into a wristwatch and attaches herself to Shinpei. I guess in a way to help him guide himself through the looping ability of sorts. And as soon as they, I guess the next place where they enter is they go into Hizuru's memories, in which we actually see a flashback of both her and her brother for the first time.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised that that's what happens after they get killed this time, as they go into Hizuru's memory. But yeah, we see of course we've seen other flashbacks, I suppose at this point in time when Hizuru was in middle school. But we see some other characters as well, such as Shinpei's original parents.
Yeah, we find out that they were actually divers exploring parts of the island, and I can already assume what happens to them is if they're if they're looking to explore parts of the island, then we know what's going to happen to them, because they mentioned that Shinpei's parents were killed before the events of the series, and then he ends up getting adopted by Alan to, and stay with both Ushio and Mio. So I can assume that we'll probably get some kind of flashback into what happens to Shinpei's parents, but also I guess what's going to happen to Ryunosuke in this flashback as well.
Yeah, and of course they eventually go up the mountain, and they go to that. I think it was the same abandoned warehouse.
Yeah, it was the abandoned clinic.
The clinic
that Shinpei and Ushio and the others tried to go into. But what's also interesting that Hizuru has been frequently going to this place, visiting, Heine of all people, who at this point in time actually had both her eyes.
Which makes me wonder if Hizuru had maybe intentionally or inadvertently had something to do with what is going on with the shadows, considering she was supposedly communicating in some way with Heine in the past. But I think these flashbacks will probably explain Ryunosuke's death and maybe some other things. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting that they're showing this now, and I'm assuming maybe at least the first half of the next episode they'll probably show the rest of this flashback sequence.
Yeah, yeah. I find it interesting that they're finally going to answer some questions into Hizuru's past for the first time, because we never really got much of her backstory, except with like a few snippets here and there. But now we'll get to see the full picture of what happens to, I guess, to Ryunosuke. But we'll also, I'm at least I'm hoping what they're going to be revealing about like Shinpei's parents.
Yeah, because it's obvious they play a role in this as well, but we're not really sure what. Yeah, there's not really too much else to say. I thought it was a pretty good episode. I'm glad that they're not really like taking a break, I guess, in between these episodes, or like I guess you would say in between the cores, or like part 1 and part 2. I like how they're just, it's just and I kind of figured this would be what happened. They just, came out with episode 13 and they're continuing on. So I kind of like that. So we don't have to wait for the next set of episodes. But yeah, I thought this is a pretty good one. I think one of the most interesting things now is that now that we know that the shadows can actually know what Shinpei's going to do and can anticipate that. So I guess Shinpei has to come up with some strategies to try to counteract that, or to try to get ahead of the shadows so that they don't try to stop him. So things will, I'm assuming he'll have to do things very differently. If he's going to
there is another scene that we missed out on. There was also one scene featuring So and his father for the first time.
Yeah, I do remember there was a scene between them.
Yeah, and it also shows like that So's father also receives a phone call from some mysterious guy talking about Shinpei looking into the whole shadow incident. Now, we don't know who this person is. They don't really reveal too much of who this person is. But apparently, this guy on the phone said he has to look after mother or something, which I'm assuming that has to be Haine. And it's probably like, if I were to guess it, this might be like, we don't know the identity of like the giant 4-armed shadow that protects Haine from time to time, but I'm assuming that this might be the same person, even if it's a different tone of voice.
I mean, it's possible, especially considering Joe's father is pretty much the one who's, well, as far as we know, he's kind of, he's of course involved in all this. So yeah, I mean, we know he's working with the shadows in some capacity, but there could be more to it than that, of course. But yeah, I thought that was a pretty interesting scene. I mean, it's a pretty good episode overall. I am definitely curious to see where it goes from here. I don't know if you have anything else to say about the episode, though.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad that we're not getting a break in this show. But considering it's fitting that that this is going to be a summer anime and this is called summertime rendering. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to for the remaining half of this show, and hopefully we'll actually get an announcement when it's actually going to be streamed on Disney Plus, because so far we still haven't even gotten an announcement yet.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wonder if the release date of the manga volumes was what might have been a clue as to when this, if the series would go on break or not, because it did have a weird release schedule. Like they were trying to put the rest of the volumes out, like I think in August. So
yeah, they said the remaining 3 manga volumes is coming out next month.
And I mean, I don't necessarily think, I don't know if the anime will really be finished by then, but I think they want to try to coincide with the release of the episodes, just so maybe they don't spoil too much with people maybe reading ahead, before the certain episodes come out.
I mean, the last 3 volumes are obviously going to be released. I would say midway through this second quarter. So I mean, people are going to get some kind of idea, but overall, people are enjoying the show, and many people are buying the heck out of those mangas right now. I think the first 3 volumes, both paperback and hardcovers, are getting sold out.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, I still haven't even gotten my shipments of the first 3 volumes, whenever that's going to be coming around. But yeah, overall, like I am loving the show so far, and hopefully it is going to pick up by by the second half.
Yeah. Well, with that all being said, guys, until next time, we will see you all later.